Hello. Uh, I'm going to give you a bit of a quick preview of the game Dinks and Donkeys that I've been creating in Alchemy RPG. Um, I'll just go straight into it. So here you can see one of the scenes that I've created as well, using some of the pictures from the PDF that I purchased. And then what I'm going to do is go straight into creating a character. So I've got my own player account as well set up in here, so I can just go on and click play and play with one of my own characters. It'll lead you to a create a new character sheet. Okay, so on this sheet, I've got my name at the top here. So I'll just put AG. And then under here, I've got my equipped, my tackle box, and my catch. So what I need to do is I need to add in my equipment. So I need to basically go into my browse here, go down, and I need to add some of my starting equipment. So starting equipment is a 0.2 monofilament line, a small float and worm, and also a small intermediate rod. And I will click save. And that should then add it to my tackle box here. Now, in order to equip it, I will click equip, and it will move it into my equip section here. And when I do move it into the equip section, what I will also add into my actions tray is the specified actions that the rod will need to do, or the line. So when I need to cast it out, reel it in, and fish on when I'm fishing, it's already got all, depending on whatever you actually equip. Let's say, for instance, if you're doing like the monofilament 0.3 or braided line, this can give you extra like pluses and minuses depending on what you're rolling as well. So all the items here have already got their bonuses attached to the actions that get put onto this action tray here. I'm just going to then have a look. I think everything else is okay here. I'm going to close it down. And on the right hand side, you can see this is my essentially a character sheet. I'm going to clean this up a little bit of a work in progress. Okay, so when I added these in, basically it added these three actions in here as well. So when I want to cast it out, when I'm starting fishing, to check if I got a fish, and then to reel it in if I do get a catch. Okay, and these are all rollable tables as well. So you got the fish size. If I get a trash or treasure, if I roll a one, then it also tells me that if I do snag something, if I do catch something, I then check what my fish type is. So depending on what my equipped bait or lure is, so float and worm, spinner and jig, hard, soft bait and top waters, and dead bait as well. So to give you an idea, if I bought a fish type on a float and worm, I would hit this button. And it will automatically roll down the bottom here. You can see that it's rolled a 4, which is a perch on the rollable table. So I'm going to go over to a tactical sheet now. This is one of the maps. And one of the new features as well that Alchemy's just has started is that you can actually do drawing on your tactical map, which is fantastic for this game. It's exactly what I needed for it. So I'm going to choose a spot first, stay right in front of this gear, so forth. And I'm going to cast out. I rolled a 1, which unfortunately, you can see here, the snag value on up here is a 1. So if I roll a 1, if my value that I roll on my dice is equal to or lower than the snag value on any of these items, I then have to roll a snag value on the snag chart. But because it is a starting item, I don't run the risk of actually losing anything. I'm just going to quickly go back again. One thing I just forgot to do as well is when you start a game or starting a session on a new lake, roll a die to determine how many tight lines points you've got. So I roll a d3. And so during the session, you can spend these points to either auto-succeed a retrieve roll, auto-succeed a real roll on one square, or re-roll for fish size. So I'm going to go and roll a d6. See what I get. Okay, so I got a 4. So that gives me 2 tight lines to use through this game. All right, now let's go back to where we were. I'm going to go, say, here. Cast it out. I've got a 2. So I'm going to put this line out here. So it's 2 squares. And I'm going to check if I get a fish on. So to get a fish on, I need to roll a 6. Which I did. Lucky. So we've got a fish on. All right. Now, I need to check my fish size because this will determine the size of the fish. So when I get a bite, you immediately feel the size of the fish pulling. So I need to roll a d6 to determine the fish size. And the number rolled on this table is a number I have to roll equal to or above on each square in order to reel it in. So I'm going to roll the fish size, which it has given me. Oh, big. So on this little line, I don't know if I'm going to have any luck pulling this one in, but look, let's give it a go. I have to roll 5 or up. So let's reel it in. I'm only going to do it for 2 squares, so I'm going to reel it in here. I got a 4, so that is a no catch. The line has been snapped. Unfortunately, the fish is gone. What I'm going to do, I'm going to completely clear that, and I'm going to put it across here. So no, I can't fish there again. No, I'm going to start right maybe here and try and cast out. We've got a 2. So now we're under the pier. So we've got a +1 to your fishing, and then a 1 to your snag. So what I need to do now is go in and roll my fish on, and I've got a 3. So 3 plus 1 does not equal 6, unfortunately. So I'm going to cross that off. Then I move to the next line. Try again. A 3 plus 1 does not equal 6, unfortunately. So I'm going to get rid of these, and I'm going to cross this section out. Now let's try a different line. So here, I'm going to aim to try and cast out this way. I've got a 3. So 1, 2, and 3. Alright, let's see where we're at. Sean. Got a 1. That is no good. Now we move to the next one. Got a 6. Perfect. That's great. So we've got a 6 here. Now we're going to determine the fish size again. Which we have a trash or treasure. So, trash or treasure. Basically what we need to do is we need to roll a rolling 1 on fish size, and you hook something other than a fish. Sometimes this is something useful, but it can also be straight up trash. Roll on this table to find out. So, I'm going to roll on the trash or treasure table and see what we get. We got an old leather boot. What a classic. So that is essentially useless. Sometimes on the trash or treasure table you can pick up items that may give you an extra perk, say for instance an extra tight lines you could utilise throughout your session as well. So that is no good. Let's get rid of that one and cross this one off. I haven't any luck at the moment. Let's try again. We'll go here. Maybe cast out this way. Got a 2. So we get into this spot here. See what we get. We've got a 6. Okay, fish on again. Beautiful. Remember, to get a fish on, you need to be rolling a 6. So if, say for instance, I get a 5 on this area here, you can see that it gives you a +1 on your fishing. So that would then essentially give you a 6. But we've got a 6 here, so now we need to roll the fish size again. Trash or treasure again. Okay, let's try it out. What do we get? Okay. If rolling 1 on fish size, you hook something other than a fish. So we hooked an old jar of fish attractant melee plus fishing +1 for the next 3 casts. That's handy. So what I can do now is I can go into my notes section here and I can say next next 3 turns fishing +1. Okay. That way I know that that's all there for me. We obviously lost that one. No good. We'll just pick up some trash. Let's go here. Try our luck again. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sean? We've got a 4. Very good. Move to the next square. Sean? We've got a 5. But remember, for the next 3 turns, remember in our notes section, next 3 turns, we have fishing +1. So that is my mistake. That is actually a fish on. Right. So now what we need to do, again, fish size. What have we got? We've got a dink, which is just a small fish. So this here determines what we need to roll on our reel it in. So we need to roll 2 or more on each roll. So fingers crossed, this is pretty positive on this one. So reel it in. 5, that's good. Move to the next square. Reel it in. 5, beautiful. Next one. Reel it in. 3. Last one. We get a 2. All right, we caught a fish. Beautiful. And now what we need to do is, we know what our fish size was, which was a dink. Now we need to go and we have caught a float. We're using the bait float and worm. So we need to then roll on the fish type, float and worm. And we have a carp. All right, so now what we need to do is we know it's a carp and we know I can dink the size. So we need to then go to a handout. We go to our size chart. We've got a roach, bream and carp here. Click on this. You see a carp and we know it's a dink size here. So what I now need to do is I need to roll on a 6 on this table to determine how big my carp is going to be. That is a 2. So we have 0.4 kilos. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back to my inventory. I'm going to go to add item, find the carp, add it. Perfect. You can see the carp's in our catch, but it doesn't have that weight yet. So we just need to click on it, go to edit, go to the weight, and go 0.20 and save that. Alright. Now you can see we have 0.2. We've got our first fish in there, which is the carp. And what I'll do is my XP, so all the XP, you get XP equal to the fish weight, rounded up to the nearest. So I'm just going to go 1, 2 for XP there. Perfect. All right, this is just a little bit of a preview just to see how this is all working in here. What I will do as well when it comes to the different scenes, I'm going to start adding all the other different maps as well on here. I've got a few other items and stuff that I need to add to the inventory list as well for the different rods, different lures that you can utilize. You can sell lures, you can, and then buy new lures and better lures, which gives you more perks like +1s and +2 to your fishing and reel-ins as well. But yeah, really cool game. It's very test your luck in regards to the roll of the dice. It's all weighted on the dice roll, so be good fun. Actually have this book coming on the way in the mail at the moment, which I've received my tracking details, so really looking forward to this turning up in the mail and to be able to play it properly in person with a bunch of friends. So hope you've enjoyed this little preview, and yeah, thank you very much. Let me know what you think.